Hey everybody, this is GGB co-host Poppers, and today we're going to be talking about, obviously, college basketball upset of the day, Monday edition. Now, I escaped last week, doing pretty well, if I do say so myself. So I decided, I'm doing so well, why not bump it up to 4 points? I have to get 4 points to not do a dare. Since I'm on fire, I feel like I can hit that mark. Let's go. Last week we had we had 5 days with a ranked upset. And if you count yesterday's upset with Rutgers over Indiana, then that's 6 days with an upset. The only day without an upset being Friday with Purdue and Purdue and Michigan. So there's some pretty crazy games last week, especially on Saturday. But let's review. Actually, we're not going to review anything because Sunday's edition wasn't that. I didn't even do a Sunday edition, so it doesn't matter. Let's go over the Monday games. So we have 2 games, but this is both of them are pretty important. At 6 o'clock, we have Syracuse, which is sitting at a 9-4 record, a team that not many people notice in the ACC, but a team that's doing extremely well. Just had a huge win over Virginia Tech on Saturday, and they're going up against the number 1 team in the country right now. Number 1 team in the conference. I'm sorry, not number 1 team in the country. That's Gonzaga. Virginia's also doing very well, though, ranked 13th in the nation. Right now, undefeated in ACC play. So, Virginia's favored by 6.5 points in this one, as they should be. But Georgia Tech had a nail-biter with them last week, so we're going to see if Syracuse can do the same thing. Right now, thanks to the last, Georgia Tech is in 7th place, but Syracuse is right behind them in 8th place. So, again, it's a very similar team to the way Georgia Tech plays. So let's go over what would happen with a win and a loss for each team. So if Virginia was to win, which is the thing that's probably going to happen, they'd move to 7-0 in conference and stay ahead of everyone, in conference play. Sitting at, they'd have an 11-2 overall record and a 7-0 in conference record. They hold the number 1 seed. With this loss, Syracuse would fall to 3-4. And drop 2 spots behind Duke and Clemson. So they would fall from 8 to 10th, okay? So, obviously, not something you'd want to do if you were Syracuse, right? Plus, dropping to 9-5, that's not great, especially for a team that's trying to build up a tournament resume. Dropping to 9-5 is not ideal. Virginia, on the other hand, with a loss. If Syracuse was to pull off the huge, major upset, they move to 4-3. Actually, Syracuse wouldn't move at all. This is one of those weird instances where no one would move. If Syracuse won, they'd move to 4-3 in conference, right? Which, as I did the math, 3 out of 5 is actually a better win percentage than Syracuse's 4 out of 7, right? So Georgia Tech would stay in the 7th spot. Now, Virginia, on the other hand, would fall to 6-1, and Florida State would have a chance to catch up to them soon. But not quite, because they don't play this week. Today. So, it'd be very interesting, to say the very least, about this matchup. What would happen with an upset. Now, in the Big 12, this is determining a lot. Now, I don't know who in the world predicted this, but right now, the number 2 team in the Big 12 is Texas. And the number 3 team is Oklahoma, which is insanity in my eyes. Now, I believe Oklahoma will probably get into the rankings this week with a 3-game win streak, playing some fantastic basketball out there on the court. Now, on the other hand, you have, honestly, weirdly enough, it's like Texas Tech, Kansas, West Virginia. I believe they were all ranked above Texas and Oklahoma to start the year. This is 100% Oklahoma. I'm not positive about Texas. Texas was ranked to start the year, but I don't believe they were ranked that highly. I believe they were low teens, high 20s maybe. But right now, Texas playing some fantastic basketball, so is Oklahoma. So, that's not the match I want to talk about. At 8 o'clock, we have number 12, Texas Tech, traveling to number 14, West Virginia. Now, Texas Tech sits at 11-4, and West Virginia sits at 10-4. But in conference, both are not doing that great, with Texas Tech sitting at a 4-3 conference record, and West Virginia sitting at a 3-3 in conference record, right? Texas Tech sitting at 4th place, with West Virginia sitting at 6th. So, obviously, West Virginia does not want to be in the bottom tier of the Big 10, the Big 12, right? You want to be in the top half, at the very least. So a win here would be huge for that goal. They'd be able to pass Kansas, and Texas Tech to get into the 4th place. So with a win, West Virginia would pass Kansas, Texas Tech, and they'd be 4th in the Big 12. Now with a loss, Texas Tech would have fallen to 4-4, only dropped 1 spot because that's the same conference record as Kansas, and Texas Tech has a better record than Kansas does. So again, Kansas would then, if you're a Kansas fan, you actually are hoping for Texas Tech to win, weirdly enough, because with a West Virginia win, it would bump you out of the top tier of the Big 12, which I'm sure you don't want as a Kansas fan, right? So it's definitely going to be interesting. If Texas Tech was to win this one game, they'd move to 5-3 in conference, which is actually Oklahoma's in conference record, and thanks to a better overall record, they would move to 12-4 on the year and actually pass Oklahoma for the number 3 spot in conference. If West Virginia was to lose, they'd fall to 3-4 in conference, but they still have the 10-5 record, which I believe would still give them the tiebreaker over a 9-4 record. Wait. No, I think actually Oklahoma State might pass them. So I'm not positive on that one. But I think it might be possible. So, again, this is a huge game for West Virginia, huge game for Texas Tech. A lot of interesting things could happen in the Big 12 with a win or a loss from either of these teams. So, what does GGB think? What is the upset that's most likely to happen? And I'm going to go with the spread people. The spread people are smart, and they're smart for a reason. I think I've been hating on West Virginia all year, but see, I've been going back and forth on this one. Syracuse looked great against Virginia Tech, but also Virginia's playing at a high level of basketball. I have less faith in Texas Tech. I've been saying all year that I don't quite believe in Texas Tech, and while that win against Texas wavered me a bit, I'm still not 100% sold on the Red Raiders, but I'm not also sold on the Mountaineers. I think this one might be a very close ball game, but I think personally that West Virginia will pull it off. Hey everybody, this is GGB, Coolest Power saying adios amigos, and go Mountaineers.